Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into a time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Episode 9 of what would become a brand new radio series and actually become a franchise, Dragnet. The 9th episode, as it was originally broadcast 73 years ago today, August 4th, 1949, and we thank you for tuning in on this Sure Happy It's Thursday, 4th day of August, 216th day of the year, and we have 149 days remaining till we get to 2023. This is the date back in 1693 ascribed to Dom Perignon's invention of champagne. Well, champagne. Okay, back in 1735, printer John Peter Zenger was defended by Andrew Hamilton, and Zenger acquitted of libel in 1735 in a case that helped foster the freedom of the press, the First Amendment and the Fifth Estate. Lizzie Borden's father and stepmother killed on this date in 1892 by an axe. Still don't really know if Lizzie did it. I mean, we kind of know, but we don't know. Germany invaded Belgium on this date in 1914. In response, Britain declared war on Germany, the opening salvos of World War I. Or at that time, it would just be the World War. The Great War, the war to end all wars. In 1916, Denmark ceded the Danish West Indies, including the Danish Virgin Islands, to the U.S. for $25 million. Anne Frank and her family found hiding in Amsterdam on this date in 1944 by Nazis. In 1964, President Johnson ordered military forces in Vietnam to take action against the communist forces in reaction to attacks in the Gulf of Tonkin.
We Americans know, although others appear to forget, the risk of spreading conflict. We still seek no wider war. I have instructed the Secretary of State to make this position totally clear to friends and to adversaries, and indeed to all. I have instructed Ambassador Stevenson to raise this matter immediately and urgently before the Security Council of the United Nations.
President Johnson on this date in 1964 expanding U.S. participation in the Vietnam War. The bodies of 3 civil rights workers, Michael Schwerner, Andrew Goodman, and James Chaney, found in an earthen dam on this date in 1964, 6 weeks into a federal investigation backed by President Johnson. It wouldn't be until 2005 Edgar Ray Killian, an outspoken white supremacist, would be found guilty of the murders 41 years later. A growing controversy over a comment made by John Lennon that the Beatles were more popular than Jesus had some radio stations boycotting the lads from Liverpool on this date in 1966, collecting and burning Beatles records.
This is Doug Layton and Tommy Charles. We're reminding you that our fantastic Beatle boycott is still in effect. Don't you forget what the Beatles have said.
Don't forget to take your Beatle records and your Beatle paraphernalia to any one of our 14 pickup points in Birmingham, Alabama, and turn them in this week if possible.
I wasn't making a big statement. I was not in a good mood, and there'd been a record out or something, and maybe it wasn't going so well, or they'd been knocking us in the press, you know. They were always either loving us or hating us. There was never anything in between, same as they do with Dylan or any of us now. And I was in a bad mood. I said, slipping, we're bigger than Jesus. Just no thought whatsoever like that. When you print it, it looks like it's a statement. In England, nobody took any notice. You know, they know. This guy's blabbing off. You know, who is he? But over here, you know, some lunatic gets his clan mask on and starts running around and burning crosses. So it was that flippant.
Yeah, the apology Lennon offered not for the message he was trying to convey, but for conveying it in a way that confused its meaning. In 1977, President Carter signed a congressional act that established the Department of Energy. In 1987, the Federal Communications Commission rescinded the Fairness Doctrine, which had required radio and TV stations to fairly present controversial issues. A federal judge sentenced LAPD officers Stacy Kuhn and Lawrence Powell to 30 months in prison for violating Rodney King's civil rights. That decision coming down on this date in 1993. And coming out on this date in 2007, NASA's Phoenix spacecraft launched. Phoenix, a robotic spacecraft on a space exploration mission on Mars under the Mars Scout program. Passing away on this date, Hans Christian Andersen, the man who was Crazy Guggenheim on the Jackie Gleason show, and you also heard him on Jack Benny's show. Frank Fontaine, actor Melvin Douglas, actor Victor Moore, the voice of Garfield, Lorenzo Music, and Lee Hazelwood. This is the birth date of Louis Armstrong, such a wonderful man. Composer William Schumann, journalist Helen Thomas, who for years was with United Press International as their White House correspondent. And when UPI went under, she went to work for other agencies. But she was front row dignitary for so many White House press conferences. She was born on this date, Helen Thomas was, and singer Timmy Euro. From Law & Order, Richard Belzer, 78 today. Actor-writer Billy Bob Thornton, 67 today. Former pro wrestler, now a producer for All Elite Wrestling, Dean Malenko, 62. Saw him perform back in 1992 in Florida. It was amazing. Barack Obama turned 61 today. From Lost and the Hawaii Five-0 reboot, Daniel Day Kim, 54. Retired racer Jeff Gordon, 51. Racer Kurt Busch, 44. AEW wrestler Frankie Kazarian, 45. Actress and now Duchess Meghan Markle is 41. Jughead on Riverdale, Cole Sprouse, is 30. And his brother, Dylan Sprouse, from The Sweet Life of Cody and Zach, Cole's twin brother, Dylan Sprouse, is 30 today. Those some of the people celebrating the 4th day of August is their birthday. If this is your birthday...
Hi, we're the 4 freshmen, and we just want to say, Happy birthday to you!
From 73 years ago today, August 4th, 1949, the 9th episode of Dragnet. I'm Wyatt Cox. Thank you for tuning into this Thursday edition of Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite station. Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, we go back 73 years to August 4th, 1949, Dragnet.
Here's another in NBC's great parade of new shows.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. Only the names have been changed to protect the innocent.
NBC brings you Dragnet. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to narcotics detail. For more than 2 months, doctors' offices have been burglarized, hospital pharmacies pillaged, drugstores robbed, medical supply firms ransacked, with one purpose in mind: the theft of narcotics. The criminals are expert, cunning, vicious. Your job, get them.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime, investigated and solved by the men who unrelentingly stand watch on the security of your home, your family, and your life. For the next 30 minutes, transcribed in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Thursday, March 23rd. It was windy in Los Angeles. We were working the night watch out of narcotics. My partner's Ben Romero. The boss is Ed Backstrand, chief of detectives. My name's Friday. I was on my way back from the record bureau, and it was 10:35 p.m. when I got to room 24, the narcotics detail.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll be right over. Thank you. Get anything, Joe?
Nothing we don't know already. How about you?
That was the county hospital on the phone. Doc Welch. Pretty fair lead. I told him we'd be right over.
What's he got?
One of our informants, Benny Trounsel. Ready?
Let's go. What's with Benny?
It's bad shape. Somebody worked him over. They found him in an alley off of South Main.
Yeah?
Doc says Trouncel talked before he passed out.
Anything good?
He claimed he knows who's running the new dope racket in town. Says they got him.
Now, let's take the stairs here, huh? Why should they bother with small fry like Benny?
That's what I'm wondering. Blackmail, maybe.
Benny's still on the needle? Maybe that accounts for his story.
Doc says his skull is fractured. Morphine doesn't do that to you.
Yeah. Benny mention any names?
I don't know. Doc didn't say.
Here's the garage. Come on. When did they pick up Benny?
About an hour ago. He had a pocket full of bundles on him. Heroin.
Trounsel's small fry. He never had that much dope on him in his life.
That's what makes it interesting. Let's go.
County Hospital? Yes, sir. The line is busy. Will you wait? Thank you. Can I help you, gentlemen?
We'd like to see Dr. Welch. She's expecting us.
Your names, please?
This is Sergeant Romero. My name's Friday, police officer.
Oh, yes. Around the corner to your left, room 127. The doctor's waiting for you.
Thank you. Come on, Ben.
I hope Benny's still talking. We could sure use a lead.
Yeah. Here it is. 127.
Hiya, Ben. Joe?
How are you, Doc? Anything new?
Just left Trouncel upstairs.
You think we can talk to him now?
Won't do much good. He died about 6 minutes ago.
For almost 2 years, Benny Trounsel, an addict himself, had been one of the most valuable informants Ben and I had in the narcotic gangs. More than once, he had helped us solve a case, but this time, if Benny Trounsel had any direct leads to the nerve center of the newest narcotic ring, he took them with him. Besides his dying accusation that the ring had gotten to him, he left behind only 2 small scraps of information. First, when he arrived at the county hospital, Dr. Welch reported that Trounsel repeatedly muttered the name Patterson. Secondly, among the few personal effects found in his pockets was a good amount of heroin and a small piece of white paper with 2 words scrawled on it, Tucker Building. Benny Trounsel's body was taken to the county morgue, and the next morning it was posted. At the coroner's inquest, the cause of death was listed as a brain hemorrhage induced by severe blows by a blunt instrument on the sides and base of the skull, inflicted by a person or persons unknown. Besides Ben and myself, the only identification witness at the inquest was a woman who managed a rooming house in Benedict Alley, where Trounsel used to stay periodically. After the inquest, we questioned her briefly in our office.
Miss Strite, you say you can't remember any friends Trounsel had while he stayed at your rooming house?
No, I can't. Besides, if I knew that man used dope, I never would have rented him a room.
How long did he rent from you, Miss Strite?
About 6 months. I run a respectable house. I don't mind if my people drink a little now and then, but those dope users, no, sir.
Did you know anything about Trounsel, Miss Strite? Where he spent his time, where he had his meals?
Well, don't serve at my place. Too much trouble. Most of the people eat at the Ace lunchroom, down the corner.
Where's that, Miss Strite?
Grant and South Main, right on the corner.
You think Trounsel might have spent some time there?
He might have, I don't know.
Miss Strite, did Trounsel ever mention anyone by the name of Patterson?
No. Patterson? No.
And you can't recall any friends he might have had?
If he had any friends, never set foot in my house. That's all I know.
All right, Miss Strite, thank you.
Here's a card, ma'am. If you come across any information about Trounsel, we'd appreciate it if you'd call us.
All right. That all?
That's all, ma'am. Thank you.
Well, bye.
Goodbye, ma'am.
Big help.
Yeah, not even a good identification witness.
You got those listings we made on the Tucker Building?
Yeah. Yeah, let's see. Here it is.
Okay, let me have it, huh? Tucker Building, 7310 South Wilshire. I wonder what Benny Trounsel could have been doing out there.
Shouldn't be too hard to check. It's a small building.
Yeah. 6 listings for the whole place. A couple of law offices, real estate guy, dentists, architect, and a doctor.
1 dentist, 1 doctor. Could be a lead.
Maybe. Pretty thin.
Friday, Romero. You got a minute?
Yeah, Skipper. Come on, Joe.
Yeah. What do you got, Ed?
Letters. Here's a sample. Now listen to this. Chief of Detectives, Ed Backstrand, City Hall, Los Angeles. In view of mounting wave of narcotic robberies, strongly recommend that your efforts to curb this lawlessness be redoubled.
They all like that?
All of them. They're mad. Can you blame them?
Not a bit.
We haven't got much to go on, Chief. The gang's pretty smart.
All right, then let's be smarter. There's no law against it.
Doing our best, Skipper.
Then make it better. I'm sick of that bunch, and I'm tired of these letters. And look at that record. In 2 months, 15 drugstore robs, 8 medical offices, 2 supply houses, 2 hospital pharmacies. Narcotics missing every time. Now, who's behind it?
None of the old-timers. We've checked them out. Gone over every hype and mainliner we know of.
All right, then get on the transients. New faces. Climb on every one of them that shoots the stuff until you get to that gang and break it. If you need help, holler. But get to that gang and break it. Do you understand?
Okay, Skipper, we'll try.
You dig up anything on that Trouncel case yet?
Still checking out one lead.
What?
Slip of paper we found in Trounsel's pocket head. Said Tucker Building on it, that's all. Just going to check it out when you called.
All right, hop on it. Fast. We got a lot of pressure on us. Keep in touch with the office.
It was almost noon when Ben and I got out to the Tucker Building. It was a 2-story affair, comparatively small, very modern. We checked with the dentist in the building first, but he'd never heard of anyone by the name of Benny Trounsel. His records and appointment books proved it out.
Well, that's one down, Joe.
Yeah. Let's try that doctor's office now. What's his name?
Let me see. Springer. Dr. Fred Springer. He's on the 2nd floor.
Okay. There's a stairway down there. Come on.
Pretty close to lunchtime. Might not be in.
Maybe. Somebody should be there. We haven't got much time to play with.
Yeah. Chief sure was up in there this morning.
Here's the office. Fred Springer, M.D.
Good morning. May I help you, gentlemen?
We'd like to see Dr. Springer, please.
Do you have an appointment?
No, we don't.
Well, the doctor's not in at present. Would you like to make an appointment for later in the day?
No, ma'am. We're police officers. This is Sergeant Friday. I'm Sergeant Romero.
How do you do? I'm Miss Turner. I'm the doctor's nurse.
Then you must take care of the appointment and record books for the doctor.
Yes, I do.
Well, maybe you can give us the information we're looking for, Miss Turner. Did the doctor ever have a patient by the name of Trounsel? Benny Trounsel?
Trounsel?
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't think so. Just a moment. I'll check.
Thank you.
No. Trounsel, is that the way you spell it?
Yes, ma'am.
No. The name's not listed here. Let me check the account book. No. Wait. It's funny.
What's that, Miss Turner?
Here in the back of the book in the doctor's handwriting. Look.
Trounsel, the black parrot.
Certainly funny. I can't remember seeing that notation before. It must be fairly recent.
Miss Turner, what kind of a clientele would you say Dr. Springer has?
Oh, it's quite exclusive. Beverly Hills, Bel Air. That's where most of the bills are mailed.
Can you recall seeing Trounsel in the office here, Miss Turner? Small man, thin, walked with a kind of a limp, not very well dressed?
No, I don't think so. Doesn't sound like any of our patients.
Would you show us the doctor's prescription lists for the last 2 months? We'd like to check them.
Well, I'm afraid I can't. Dr. Springer keeps them in the safe. He's the only one who has the combination.
How long you been with Dr. Springer?
About 10 months. Ever since he started his practice out here.
Where was he before that?
Philadelphia. I don't understand all these questions. Is anything the matter?
Just a routine check, Miss Turner. When do you expect the doctor back?
About 4 this afternoon. He's out making home calls.
All right. Here's our card. Would you ask him to call us as soon as he comes in?
I'll do that.
Thank you, Miss Turner. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye. Oh, say, Miss Turner, there's one more question.
Yes?
Does Dr. Springer have a patient by the name of Patterson?
Oh, yes. One of the doctor's first patients, John Patterson. He lives out on East Beverly Drive.
When we left Dr. Springer's office, we called R&I. There was no make on John Patterson. Ben and I drove over to see him just on a hunch. It didn't pay off right then, but it showed a little promise. When the maid came to the door of the Swank apartment, she told us Patterson was out for the day. We asked her about Patterson's occupation. She didn't know. We asked her about his friends, his business acquaintances. She could remember only 2 people visiting the apartment. One of them was Dr. Springer, apparently a constant visitor. The other, a tall, dark man who spoke bad English. We asked the maid how long she had worked for Patterson. She said ever since he moved to Los Angeles, about 6 months before. A few things started to fall into place, but it was strictly a guesswork operation. Ben and I got in the car and headed for the south end of the city to check out some of the places Benny Trounsel was supposed to have frequented. We met a stone wall, from the Ace lunchroom near Benny's former rooming house to the Black Parrot. No one was willing to talk. Threats didn't work, and neither did promises. Ben and I gave up for the moment and headed back to the office.
Pacific Ambulance 1, call to Alhambra is now code 3.
Seems like Skid Row doesn't want any part of this one.
Yeah, there's a bad feeling. Something's got him scared.
Sure would like to know what it is, or who it is.
Yeah, I'd like
Control
to know
1 to Unit 80K. Control 1 to Unit 80K.
Us, Joe. Get it, will you?
I got it. 80K to Control 1. 80K to Control 1. Go ahead.
80K. Call station 2511, code 3.
80K to Control 1. Roger. KMA 367.
Wonder what that's all about.
Now, let's find out. There's a drugstore. They ought to have a phone. Pull over, huh? You got a nickel?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Thanks. I'll be back in a minute.
City Hall.
2511.
Thank you.
Chief of Detective's Office, Hannon.
This Friday, Mike. The chief there?
Oh, yeah, just a minute. Backstrand talking.
This Friday, Ed. What do you got?
You tied up?
Nothing big.
Then check in as soon as you can. Got something good.
What?
Dragnet, August 4th, 1949 on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
You ever make a change and then think, why didn't I do this years ago? Well, that's how people feel about switching to Medishare for their health care, especially now with inflation the way it is. People are very happy with the savings. Most families save about $500 a month when they switch. It's a huge help when prices are going up so fast in so many other areas. And Medishare's customer satisfaction rate is double that of health insurance. It's just a different experience, and people really like that. Medishare is an alternative to health insurance. It's a community of Christians who share each other's healthcare bills, and it's been going strong for over 25 years. It really is the gold standard, the most trusted name in healthcare sharing. Find out why people love it, find out why they rave about the customer service, and find out how good it feels to save some money right now. They're super easy to talk to. Here's the number, 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE, 833-34-BIBLE.
Thank you for tuning in to Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. We're listening this hour to an episode of Dragnet, the 9th episode of the series, as it was originally broadcast Thursday, August 4th, 1949. In the newspapers of that Thursday, 73 years ago, these were some of the headlines. A federal grand jury yesterday indicted 12 white men, including the sheriff and 3 deputies of Dade County, Georgia, in connection with the masked flogging of 7 Negroes at Hooker, Georgia. Among these 70 witnesses called by the grand jury in its 2-day investigation, Dr. Samuel Green of Atlanta, Grand Dragon of the Ku Klux Klan, Green testifying twice, one Tuesday and again yesterday. The jury charged the 12 white men with conspiring to injure, oppress, and intimidate the 7 Negroes by assaulting them. The indictment specifically charged that Dade County Sheriff John W. Lynch and his 3 deputies allowed the Negroes to be punished without trial and without due process of law by releasing them to the mob. The administration won an important victory on the big foreign aid appropriations bill yesterday when it beat back an attempt to require that $1.3 billion of European recovery funds be spent for surplus U.S. farm crops. The farm amendment went out on a point of order, upheld by the Senate 52-32 when it was appealed. The decision, taken late in the day, removed the biggest threat to final approval of the measure, now confidently anticipated by its backers. Republicans predicted last night that power for the president to arm any nation will be stripped from the $1.450 billion foreign arms bill before it gets out of the House Foreign Affairs Committee. Congressman Judd of Minnesota and Congressman Fulton of Pennsylvania made the prediction. The committee spent yesterday behind closed doors and questioning General Lyman Lemsder of the Army, Dr. Lloyd V. Berkner of the State Department, and a battery of assistants. Ratification of the North Atlantic Pact by the Dutch Upper House at The Hague yesterday brought the 12-nation treaty within one step of becoming formally effective. It will go into effect when the instruments of ratification of the 7 founding nations are deposited in Washington. The 7 original partners, all of whom have now ratified the pact, are the U.S., Britain, France, Canada, Belgium, Luxembourg, and the Netherlands. The Dutch upper chamber ratified the alliance by a vote of 29-2, the negative votes being cast by the communists. Well, Boston police are convinced they've heard everything now. When they pulled in Benjamin F. Wilson on charges of illegal driving, a strange tale of the cat motorist came to light. Questions of the police lineup went like this. Question: do you have an operator's license? Yes, sir, and no, sir. I have one under an assumed name. No double talk. Elucidate. The answer: I'm the license under the name of A.E. Van. Who is A.E. Van, they asked, and they said, my pet cat. Was that his full name? Says, well, his real name was Algernon Elias Van der Tweezer. I couldn't spell it when I applied for the license. I used only the parts of the name I could spell. Wilson convicted, sentenced to serve 6 months in the House of Correction for operating an automobile without authority and driving an automobile so as to endanger. And today in South Boston District Court, the Registry of Motor Vehicle Officers will try to find out how come a cat dead for a year had a license to drive an automobile. Those some of the day's top news stories as reported in the newspapers of Thursday, August 4th, 1949. On your radio, Dragnet. No catting around. We'll hear the conclusion next on this Thursday Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
It's a big, bold story set in the heartland of America, along the edge of Lonely Mountain. I am open for business. And so Big William Gorgon, played by handsome Michael James, fiercely set down his Midwest roots.
Oh, darling, we're going to sell bathrobes and raise chickens.
Set his adoring wife, Wilhelmina, portrayed by beautiful Glenda Olsen.
Oh, I love our store, Will.
But they hadn't counted on Big Ralph's bathrobes and cattle store coming to town.
Oh, Will, what will we do, Will?
Will had a plan, a way of facing off against tough Big Ralph. We're going to change the face of America. We're going to advertise.
Adver what?
The print, broadcasting, and bus benches. We're going to tell people who we are and where we are.
What's a bus?
And so the story of how one man brought advertising to the heartland.
Oh, will it work?
It will. Well, my name ain't Will, Wilhelmina. We got to advertise or we'll die. And so the greatest marketing story of all time is here. Advertise or die, dopey.
Put your message on this national advertising platform. Email classicradiotheater@gmail.com. classicradiotheater@gmail.com. We close out this week of Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox by heading up north to an episode of Fort Laramie starring Raymond Burr. Yeah, I guess the Northwest is the best thing to say. This goes back 66 years to August 5th, 1966. The peaceful Shoshone Indians are attacked by a fanatical Army major. That will be on our Friday Classic Radio Theater, but right now let's wrap up this Thursday show with the conclusion of the 9th episode of Dragnet, a brand new show, as it was brand new 73 years ago, August 4th, 1949.
You remember the stick-up at St. Agnes Hospital about a month ago? Pharmacy there?
What about it?
2 patrolmen picked up a user down near Union Station about an hour and a half ago.
Yeah?
Guy was way back on his heels. He had 2 vials of morphine on him. Vials had serial numbers.
Good. Did they match out?
Perfectly.
Thanks, Ed. We'll be right in. When Ben and I got back to the office at 3:52 p.m., we picked up Chief Ed Backstrand and went directly to the crime lab where Lieutenant Lee Jones analyzed the contents of the 2 vials taken from the suspect. Jones told us it was high-grade morphine. We went back to the office and double-checked the serial numbers on the vials with a crime report on the St. Agnes Hospital robbery. They matched.
And there's a good break. These vials were in the loot when the gang knocked over the hospital 28 days ago. Now stay on the trail and we'll crack that gang wide open.
This the arrest report on the guy, Ed?
Yeah. Picked him up in a bar off South Main.
Who is the guy? A transient?
Yeah, here it is, Ben. James Steiner, Phoenix, Arizona, age 37, transient laborer. Anybody talk this guy yet, Ed?
Not yet. He shouldn't be too hard. You better get on it.
Right, Skipper. Come on, Joe.
Check you later, Ed. What time you got, Ben?
Let me see. 25 past 4.
A phone call for you, Ben?
Yeah, who was it?
Your wife wants you to pick up some aspirin and a bottle of nose drops for your kid on your way home.
Oh, yeah, almost forgot.
That the only call we had, Mike?
That's right.
Thanks.
Well,
you got that Dr. Springer's number, Ben?
Yeah, yeah, here it is. Crestview 55284.
Thanks.
Nurse said he'd call us around 4, didn't she?
Yeah.
Dr. Springer's office?
This is Sergeant Friday down at the police department. Dr. Springer there?
Well, no, he isn't, Sergeant. He called in about 20 minutes ago, and I gave him your message. He said he'd call you.
All right, Miss Turner. When he comes in, tell him to call us. Impress on him. It's urgent.
All right, Sergeant. I'll do that. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
No luck?
I don't know. Just a hunch. He may be ducking us.
Who you calling now?
State Medical Board. Maybe they can check us out on Dr. Springer. I put the call through to the State Medical Board and asked for a check on Dr. Fred Springer. They said they'd call back within the hour. In the meantime, we had James Steiner brought to one of the interrogation rooms for questioning. It was all talk.
Oh, look, it's like I told the sergeant when they booked me. I don't know anything about this hospital job.
Sit down, Steiner.
Oh, all right, thanks. How long you been in the city, Steiner? L.A.? Oh, about a month. I came from Phoenix, looking for work. Things are pretty slow in Phoenix.
Where'd you get the morphine?
Huh?
I said, where'd you get the morphine?
The stuff? Oh, I bought it. Just for a pop now and then. I just play around with it. Just for kicks.
Who'd you buy the vials from?
Who? Oh, I don't know. A guy in a bar gave me a price.
Which bar was that?
Which bar? The Black Parrot. I'm not hooked. I just play around with it just for kicks.
What'd the guy look like, Stoner?
What did he look like? I don't know. Tall, I guess.
Would you remember him if you saw him again?
Remember? Sure. I talked to him a couple of nights at the bar.
Was he on the stuff? Was he a hype?
Hype? Yeah, maybe. Tall fella, dark.
You shooting the stuff?
Shooting the stuff? No, I'm no mainliner. I never took in the veins in my life. I told you I'd do it just for kicks, just to pop now and then.
Take off your shirt. Let's see your arms.
Huh? My arms?
Come on, take it off. Who are you kidding, Steiner? Your arm looks like a pincushion.
I told you just once in a while, just for the kicks. I'm not hooked on it.
They found 2 vials of stolen morphine on you, Steiner. You can go 2 ways, hard or easy.
Hard or easy? I told you I ain't done nothing. I bought this stuff. I use a cap or a bindle once in a while for kicks, but I'm not hooked. I bought the stuff, I tell you.
Who was he, Steiner? Who sold it to you?
Who? I told you I met him in a bar, the Black Parrot.
Who was he?
He was tall. Dark. He gave me a good price.
Come on, let's have it, Steiner. His name.
I'm feeling sick. You got something for me? I'm sick.
All right. Mike.
Yeah, Joe?
Get some milk. A couple of quarts right away.
Okay.
You ready to tell us, Steiner? Who was he?
I'm sick. I'm sick.
We're getting some milk for you now. Come on, you better talk.
Max. That's all he said. Name was Max. He gave me a good price. I only take a pop now and then just for kicks.
You think you could point him out for us?
Yeah, maybe. I'm sick. Sick.
Narcotics, Romero.
Hello. This is Dr. Springer calling. You wanted to talk to me.
Yes, we did, Doctor. We got a few questions we'd like to ask you. Oh, hold on just a minute, will you? It's Dr. Springer, Joe.
All right, tell him we got to see him tonight. We'll call him back later.
Dr. Springer?
Yes?
Sorry, Doctor. We'll have to see you later on tonight. You be at home?
Well, I have an appointment this evening. Would you mind telling me what this is all about?
Sure, Doctor. It's about a man named Benny Trounsel.
Oh. I see.
And if you don't mind, we'd like to check over your prescription list with you.
Yes. I'll cancel my appointment. You can contact me here at home. 1538 South Road. I'll be here all night.
All right, Doctor. Thank you. We'll see you later then.
Yes. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
What'd he say? All right?
Yeah, it's all right. I'll buy that hunch of yours now, Joe. Dr. Springer, he knows who killed Benny Trounsel. I bet he knows why.
When Mike Hannon came back with the milk, we fed it to Steiner, and then we put him back in his cell. We put in another call to John Patterson out on East Beverly Drive, but there was no answer. We left word with Hannon where we were going, and then Ben and I headed out for Dr. Springer's home. It was 7:35 when we pulled up into the driveway at 1538 South Road, a low, rambling ranch-type home. We got out of the car and made our way down the path to the front door. A gray Persian cat followed us. The door was half open. We knocked, but there was no answer. Through the window, we could see the living room was dimly lighted. We went in. We found Dr. Springer sitting in a large carved mahogany chair in the dining room. The room was hung with draperies. He was slumped forward, face down on the dining table. There was a bullet hole in his right temple. On the floor near his right hand was a .32 automatic pistol. In the center of the dining table was a piece of white paper.
Looks like he beat us.
Yeah. Any names in that confession?
One says he killed Trouncel. No, wait a minute. It says, John Patterson. He forced me to this.
What?
I don't know. What's it look like to you? Here's another one. Norberg. That's all it says. And then he signed his name, Dr. Fred Springer.
Ben, come over here. Look at these.
Hypodermic needle. It works. This morphine?
White powder. Could be.
And he was on it himself.
Looks like it. We'll find out when they post him. I'll get it. Yeah.
Sergeant Friday there, please.
This is Joe, Mike. What do you got?
Can you talk all right there?
Yeah, go ahead.
Just got a kickback on your call to the state medical board on this Dr. Fred Springer.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a registered physician in the state of California. Besides that, his license was revoked in Pennsylvania 2 years ago. Illegal operations.
That explains it. Notify homicide. Get the crime lab in the corner out here, will you? Looks like Springer shot himself.
Okay, Joe, right away.
We'll wait for him, but hurry him up, Mike. We got a couple more places to check out tonight.
Okay, Joe, see you later.
Right.
What's next? Patterson place?
I don't know. Maybe we ought to try Steiner first.
Sounds good to me. Feels like we're getting close.
Yeah, Ben. Real close. 12 minutes later, homicide and the crime lab men checked in at the Springer house, and Ben and I checked out. We went back to the office and found Ed Backstrand waiting for us. We told him our story, and he sent 2 men out to keep an eye on the Patterson place. 2 other men went to work to try and track down the other name in Springer's confession note, Norberg. Ben and I went up to the county jail and picked up Steiner. The 3 of us started out to look for the man who sold Steiner the 2 vials of morphine stolen from the hospital pharmacy a month before. The man's name was Max. He was tall and dark. That was all we knew. The rest of it was up to Steiner. 2 other men from the detail, Davis and Emerson, came along with us to take care of Steiner if anything went wrong. Our first stop was the Black Parrot Tavern. Davis parked the car in an alley down the street. Steiner, Ben, and I got out and walked the rest of the way.
You understand what you're supposed to do, Steiner?
Me? Yeah. I go in first and sit at the bar. You 2 will follow me. I sit at the bar, and if I see Max, I give you the sign. That's okay, huh?
That's right. And you don't try to break for it.
Break for it? Me? I told you, I'm squaring with you guys.
All right, Steiner. Go ahead.
Let's hope it works, Joe.
Yeah. There he goes inside. Come on. Now, look, try to grab one of the booths along the wall if you can, huh?
Right. Here we are.
First booth, Ben. It's empty.
Yeah.
Fellas left to order at the bar. Waitress got a night off.
Make it a couple of beers, will you?
Couple of beers? Okay.
Joe, so look at Steiner.
Yeah, he's signaling. Must mean the guy putting on his coat over there. No, hold it, Ben. Wait till he gets past us. All right, get Steiner back to the car. I'll tail the guy. You come after me. I didn't know how right Steiner was or how much we could trust him. All I knew was that the man I was following was tall and he was in a hurry. I followed him 3/4 of a block before he turned in at a motel. He went to a cottage at the rear of the lot, let himself in, and closed the door quickly behind him. A minute later, Ben and the others pulled up in the car.
Got him staked out, Joe. Steiner says that was Max.
Let's make sure. Come on.
Which one's he in?
The one down at the end here. Now be careful.
You too.
All right, here we are. Wait a minute, right there. Look, there's no rear door. He's got to come out the front. Keep the door clear. You ready?
All set.
Cover me. Open up in there.
Who is it?
Police officers, open up.
Just a minute.
All right, Ben, give it back to him.
Don't shoot. We'll come out.
All right, throw your guns out first, then come out with your hands behind your head and make it fast. Watch it, Ben. He's making a break.
All right, mister. That's far enough. Get out of my way. Get out of
Get
my
him, Ben. That's good, Ben. You all right?
He didn't mean it, Copper. He didn't mean it. He didn't know what he was doing.
Well, that must be a good excuse, lady. A lot of people use it. Come on, Ben. Let's take him in. It was 10 minutes past midnight when we got back to headquarters. Both the man and the woman were booked for violation of the State Narcotics Act, a felony. He gave his name as Max Jansen. In his luggage, we found 13 vials of morphine, large quantities of heroin, and a small amount of Panopin. He gave us the names and addresses of 6 active members of the narcotics gang. He identified Dr. Springer as second in command.
Just a few more questions, Jansen.
Yeah, all right.
Why did Springer kill Trouncel?
He had it coming. Trouncel knew the score, and he was blackmailing him, bleeding him white.
Why didn't the gang take care of him?
The boss said no rough stuff. Things were going too good. He warned Springer, but he wouldn't listen.
All right, Jensen, just one more question. Who's the boss?
Do I get off light? State's witness?
It might help. We can't promise you anything.
Who's the boss, Patterson?
Yeah.
138 East Beverly Drive?
That's right.
What about Norberg? How does he figure?
It's the same guy. Patterson and Norberg, both the same.
And what's his real name?
Norberg. Tony Norberg.
What's his front?
He's legitter. He used to be. Importing business.
Where?
Here. Got an office downtown. Do I get protection?
Where's Norberg now?
Home out in Laurel Canyon. Do I get protection?
I thought you said he lived out on East Beverly.
His apartment. His home's out in the canyon.
Where? What's the address?
Do I get protection?
You'll get protection.
Winding Way. 860 Winding Way.
All right, Friday. Romero, take some men with you.
All right, Davis, cover the back of the house. Levine, you cover the front. Come on, Ben.
Yes?
Mr. Norberg in?
Who's calling?
Police officers.
Oh, come in, won't you?
Thank you.
Now get your hands up. Face the wall.
You'll never make it, lady. The house is surrounded.
Tony, get the stuff. It's our only chance.
They'll cut you down, Norberg.
All right, Jeannie, give him the gun.
Don't be a fool. They're going to march out the door in front of us, right to the car.
I'm not going, Jeannie. Try it if you want to. I'm not going.
All right, Tony, stay. Come on, coppers.
You'll never make it, lady.
I said move. Fast.
All right, Ben, hit the dirt. She's going for the car. See if you can get those tires. Come on.
Dan?
Yeah.
Norberg was smart. Must be the girlfriend.
Guess so.
Wonder why they start. Why did they get on the stuff, Joe?
For kicks, Ben. None of them ever get hooked. Just for kicks.
The story you have just heard is true. Only the names were changed to protect the innocent.
Tony Norberg, alias John Patterson, was tried and convicted for possession of narcotics, robbery, and conspiracy, and was sentenced to the maximum term prescribed by law, each count to run consecutively. He died 3 years and 11 days after his arrival at the state penitentiary. You have just heard the 9th in a new series of authentic cases transcribed from official files. Technical advice for Dragnet is furnished by the Los Angeles Police Department.
Tonight's program is dedicated to Chief Erskine Fish of the North Sacramento Police Department, who on the night of August 11th, 1935, gave his life so that yours might be more secure.
Dragnet came to you from Los Angeles.
August 4th, 1949, Dragnet here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Visit our webpage, classicradio.stream, where you can stream our shows on demand, learn more about classic radio collecting. You can contact me there. You can find our links to podcast apps. You can find our social media links. And like I said, you can contact me. You can even buy me a copy if you so desire. That helps to build this show. Thanks for tuning in. Thank this station. Support their advertisers. Tell your friends the great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station.